Will be by Associate Pastor Scotty Smith of Cowboy Fellowship. Pastor Smith, thanks for joining us again.
Just thank you for the opportunity to be able to come here tonight, and man, how fortunate we are to meet as a community and be the first year, the first meeting, and to all those who are on the board. I know that you sacrifice your family time just to be here in our community to make sure that our community is guided in the right direction. So on behalf of the community and the people, thank you for giving up your time, and thank you for listening to God's call to help direct us and lead us in that direction. And I know maybe you don't hear that enough, and so just thank you on the behalf of the community for doing that. And let me pray for you tonight.
Thank you.
Father, I just lift up tonight to you, and Father, tonight's the beginning of a new year. There's all kinds of possibilities that are open before us as a city and as a community. And Father, you've led these men and women here to help lead us and guide us, to listen to us. But Father, also you've given us an opportunity and responsibility to encourage them and support them as they do that. And Father, I just pray for their families tonight. Lord, that you would come alongside of them and speak to their hearts during the times that they're away. And Father, that you would bless them and encourage them. And Father, as a city, as we have a new year set before us, Father, help us be responsible with the gifts that you give us. Help us to be responsible with the employees of the city that you've given us to serve alongside of us and not necessarily to us. And Father, help us to breathe life into them. Help us to take care of them and support them. And God, we just look forward to this next year and what you have in store for us. And Father, I just pray you bless our city, bless our county, bless our state, bless our country. And Father, we just ask that you'd intercede on our behalf, lead us and guide us. Father, please do all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. If you'll face the flag, hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you again, Mr. Smith. Item number 3 is a roll call. Ms. Israel.
Here.
Mr. Science. Here. Mr. Best.
Here.
Mr. Garza.
Here.
Ms. Pacifica.
Here.
Mr. Gallegos.
Here.
All members are present. Item number 4 is a consent agenda. Item A, approval of the minutes of the regular session of December 4th, 2014. B, approval of the replat for North Pleasanton Subdivision, Block 24, Pleasanton Engineer. C, approval of replat for portion of Pleasanton Original Lot 231, City Engineer. Approval of replat for Code Red Safety Subdivision, City Engineer. And before we continue, Mr. Medding, you did recommend approval of all 3.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos.
yes, I move to approve the consent agenda A, B, C, and D.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we approve the consent agenda, items A, B, C, and D. Any discussion? None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 5 is discussion and action on adopting an ordinance for the operation of city parks, city pools, and city sports complex. Director of Facilities and Activities.
Mr. Mayor, Council.
Evening.
Yeah, we're submitting the new kind of update the park ordinance because of the master plan for the parks is coming up and all that stuff's coming up. So we're kind of see if we can start the update process, and this is part of it. This is probably just the first step, but this will be part of it.
Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos.
I move to approve the adoption for an ordinance for the operation of the city park, city pool, and the city sports complex.
Been moved and seconded to move towards an adoption of ordinance for the operation of the city park, city pool, and city sports complex. Is that correct, Mr. Gallegos?
That's correct.
Any discussion?
Mayor,
Mr. Science? Oh, Ms. Israel.
I just wanted to ask if there is a provision in there for service dogs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Other
That's
discussion?
all.
None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6 is discussion and action to direct city staff to bring an ordinance to the February 5th, 2015 regular city council meeting that would prohibit registration of sex offenders living or loitering where children regularly congregate. Chief Sanchez.
Hi, thank you again, Mayor, Council. Yes, we would like to be directed to bring this ordinance before the council, but before we do, there is some changes that I feel need to be made, some revisions on it prior to the passing of this, so we would like your direction.
Can that be done by the next meeting?
Yes,
I believe so.
that ordinance is just in draft form. The first reading would be brought, I think, Chief, at the next meeting, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's the provision that deals with landlords' responsibility about sex offenders and if they lease property to them. Mr. Maldonado is researching case law on that. We don't know that that is a wise or a prudent decision.
Okay.
I think it would open the city to some litigation if, in the past, there's cases out there where they've had rulings on the landowner renting to a sex offender. So we're going to research that more.
Okay.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel?
I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
To direct the city staff to bring an ordinance to the February 5th, 2015 regular city council meeting that would prohibit registered sex offenders from living or loitering where children regularly congregate.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to direct the city staff to bring in an ordinance to the February 5th, 2015 regular city council meeting that would prohibit registered sex offenders from living or loitering where children regularly congregate. Any discussion?
I have a question there.
Gagos?
Yes, Chief, with this ordinance versus the state laws to regulate these issues, what is the difference between what is being regulated by the state versus our city ordinance?
It almost mirrors the conditions of their parole of your sex offenders. If they violate this, it's a Class C offense, which a good term would be we'd put them on paper. We'd report to their parole officer, look, they have violated our ordinance. Not only have they violated our ordinance, but they're violating a provision of their parole. So that'll probably start the process to get these people's parole revoked and get them back in prison.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Best?
it's also my understanding, though, that this isn't just about people who are on parole or probation. This is in regards to anybody who's a registered sex offender that can be off of that. And state law does not cover people who, once they're off probation or parole, it doesn't have anything that covers this issue. So that, ergo, the reason for creating the ordinance, so that we have ongoing protection even once individuals are off of probation or parole.
There's several who will do their prison stint, come out on parole, complete their parole, but they're lifetime sex offenders.
Correct.
And this'll, it'll be a criminal offense for them to violate the city ordinance. But the vast majority of them are on parole for a long, long time, and I think this would be a good idea for the city.
Mr. Steins?
Yes, Chief, this only will include the sex offenders. The ones that are on parole for some other violations that they have committed, they serve their time, come back to society. That don't include these people according to what they did other than not having a sex offense record. Is that right?
This will pertain to people who are required by the state to register as sex offenders.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
to register.
Right,
Yes, sir.
registered sex offenders.
Other discussion? None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Who seconded that, Cindy?
Mr. Best? That's what I heard first.
Okay.
Ordinances and resolutions. Item A is reading and adoption of ordinance number 15-1127, enacting the 2014 S3 supplement of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Pleasant, Texas, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 15-1127 is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, enacting and adopting supplements to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pleasanton and declaring an emergency.
Mayor,
Mr. Gagos?
I move to approve the adoption of ordinance number 2014-1127, enacting the 214S-3 supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Pleasanton, Texas, and declaring it an emergency.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 15-1127, enacting the 2014 S3 supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Pleasant, Texas, and declaring an emergency. Any discussion? All those in favor of the adoption of the ordinance, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Ordinance is adopted. Item number B is the first reading of ordinance number 1511-28, revising the Parks Ordinance by adopting an ordinance with the operation of the City Park, City Pool, and City Sports Complex, and ordinance number 15-1128, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, repealing and replacing ordinances 1059, 1152, and 121052 of the Pleasanton Code of Ordinances, providing rules and regulations, setting fees, providing a penalty clause, providing a conflict clause, and providing an effective date for the operation of the City Park, City Pool, and City Sports Complex. Item number C is reading and adoption of a resolution number 137-15, authorizing the submission of the TCDB grant program application to the Texas Department of Agriculture. Resolution number 137-15, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, authorizing the submission of the Texas Community Development Block Grant Program application for the Texas Department of Agriculture for the Community Development Fund, and authorizing the city manager to act as the city's executive officer and authorizing representative in all matters pertaining to the city's participation in the Texas Community Block Development Grant.
Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos.
I move to approve the adoption of resolution number 137-15, authorizing the submission of a TCDB grant program application to the Texas Department of Agriculture.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 137-15, authorizing the submission of TCDB grant program application of the Texas Department of Agriculture. Any discussion? None. We'll proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the resolution, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Resolution is adopted. Item number 10 is reading and adoption of resolution number 138-15 of the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, declaring its legislative agenda for the Texas legislative session 2015. Resolution number 138-15 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, relating to the City of Pleasanton's legislative agenda for the 2015 legislative session.
Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos.
I move to approve the adoption of resolution number 138-15 by the City Council of the City of Pleasanton, Texas, declaring its legislative agenda for the Texas legislative session of 2015.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 138-15 by the City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, declaring its legislative agenda for this Texas legislative session 2015. Any discussion? None. Proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Resolution is adopted. Item number 8 is presentation of appreciation plaques.
Mayor, if you would, please.
I'd like for the City Council to come down here with me if you wouldn't mind. And the face of we've got just a brief presentation. As a city, we'd like to say thank you to 3 individuals who've given service to not only our community, but to the City of Pleasanton, Texas. And as I call your name, if you come up, we'd like to recognize you. The first one will be special recognition of Atascosa County Appraisal District Representative Mr. Joe Rodriguez. With deepest appreciation for your service to the citizens of Pleasanton and Atascosa County, January 1st, 2011 to December 31st, 2014. The Mayor and City Council of Pleasant, Texas, January 15th, 2015. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you. Oh, I think they want a picture. We'll get a picture of it. All right. Please, if you'd like to say something.
Yeah, I
didn't want to put you on the spot.
I know this is a long agenda and all you want me, but give me 2 minutes. Sure. 4 years ago, Roger called me and asked me to do this, And first question I had was, well, what am I going to do? I mean, I've never done this. But I recall back 33 years ago today, almost to the day, I got a call. I was at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico. I got a call from General in Wright-Patterson. And they flew me up there, and he asked me to take a special assignment as an advisor to the Royal Saudi Air Force. And you folks know that when you're a senior NCO in the Air Force and a general asks you to do something, he's not really asking. You know, you're doing it. So I went over there for 2 years and ended up extending for another year. But the reason I bring this up, I had the same question then. What do I do? I've never done this before. And a general at Wright-Patterson told me, Joe, he says, what you need to do when you're over there, because we're going to have a lot of difficulties with the contractors that you're going to be overseeing. He says, always do what's right. And I always remembered that. And when I took on this job, I followed the same plan. And when I got over there we took an oath, and that oath told me that we worked. I was representing you people for these last 4 years, not anybody else, you people. And we did that by taking care of the appraisal district. If you take care of them, they're going to take care of you. And you folks probably need, to understand that. And I enjoyed doing what I did. I appreciate the opportunity to have done it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
It's hard to find good dedicated people, and we did with Joe. We appreciate what you've done. Our second one is a special recognition for Superintendent Dr. Cynthia Klein-Smith. With deepest appreciation for your service to the children of the city of Pleasant, Texas and Atascosa County, January 2nd, 2012 to January 31st, 2015. The Mayor and City Council of Pleasant, Texas, January 15th, 2015.
With all these people who've been with me for like several years without saying a few words. I came looking for a community. I actually didn't come looking. They called me from the state and said, there's a community down there that you need to go take a look at. And they knew I wanted to be with a community where I could be of service, but mainly I just said, I want to be in a community that really cares about the kids. And boy, you did not let me down. This is a community that loves its kids. It's been a great, great ride. But I do want to say one thing to the City Council, that it's been an honor to work with you. But in the past 2 weeks, I've gotten so many blessings of cards and emails and phone calls. But the common theme has been, truly, they've said, we've so appreciated the work between the city and the schools. And so I'm just going to challenge you to continue to make sure. I would never have left this community until I was sure there was a good person from this community who loved this community to take over. And as soon as I found him, I thought I need to get out of the way. But this is a man who's going to need your support and your collaboration, so I just challenge you to continue that. There's good things ahead, that this city really needs to wrap its arms around its kids and the future of this town. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to add something to that. The day Dr. Klein-Smith started a week before Mr. Pearson.
Yes, it's been a
And Dr.
partnership.
Klein-Smith had just asked for me to come by and meet with her, or come by here, and me go there. I decided to go there, and it happened to be on the day that Mr. Pearson got here. And I said, why don't you go with me? That way I can introduce y'all. I didn't say a word in the meeting. So I got to actually sit there and see the relationship between the school and the city.
Well, this is
come
a
together.
lifelong blessing. Our friendship will continue. It's been wonderful. It's been good. So,
Thank you. We have one more, a special recognition to Judge Diana Bautista. With deepest appreciation for the service to the citizens of Atascosa County and the city of Pleasanton, January 1st, 2003 to December 31st, 2014. The Mayor and City Council of the City of Pleasant, Texas, January 15th, 2015.
Oh, I think actually, it really has been a pleasure Some of y'all will remember, I used to work for the city of Pleasanton, so I never forgot that, especially with the police department. Now, a bunch of y'all I did not work with, but the chief I did have the pleasure. Look at the smile. Working for the citizens really was a lesson in life, because you cannot keep everybody happy, and I don't care what profession you're in, and you know that. But I did come to realize that if I could make one person happy per week, I was ahead of the game. And I really appreciate this. Thank you very much. And she,
Representing us well. But that's right.
Are we back up?
We're gonna miss you, Judge,
Thank
but
you,
you'll
sir.
just be around the corner.
I'll be around somewhere.
Okay.
Again, I'd like to thank all three of you for all that you've done for the city of Pleasanton and the community. Council, up there, if you'd like to say anything.
I would.
Please do.
I just would also like to give my sincere thanks to Dr. Kleinsmith. I certainly respect and have appreciated her involvement, not just in the community, but her sincere heart for the children. And it's been a great relationship, and I'm happy and trust her decision to go, and I trust her decision on her replacement. And Judge Batista, it's been an honor knowing you. I knew you when you were writing tickets. And I also had the pleasure of working with you over the last month, and I just thank you so very much for that. And Mr. Rodriguez, I know your job that you took so very seriously. We all appreciate that. So I just want to say thank you to all three of you as well. Thank you.
I'd like to also thank all three of you for y'all's commitment and dedication and loyalty to the county. And y'all did a good job, and y'all will be missed. And thank y'all very much for making our county, a better school district. Thank you very much. Judge, you're gonna be very missed.
I thought we were right back down there, but not yet.
Not yet.
All right, item number 9 is citizens' comments. If you're a citizen of or a taxpayer to the city, you may speak at this time. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Know that council and staff may not respond, and it cannot pertain to one of tonight's agenda items. We do have one person that signed up. It's not a name, but it's Friends of the Library for the Brad Kling event.
Yeah.
Ms. Jones.
Most of y'all know me. I'm Alma Jones. I'm the new president of the Friends of the Library. And this Saturday at 5 o'clock, the doors open I think at 4, but at 5 o'clock, we're having an event with Brad Kling. He's with Everyday Paranormal. He used to have a TV show on this Discovery Channel, I think, on Ghost Lab. He's going to come down and investigate a local building. We don't want to say where because we don't want a lot of people showing up
I
there.
don't want to know where.
See me afterwards, and I'll let you know. But it's very interesting. And then whatever findings he has, if he has any, he's going to include in his presentation. And it's a free event. We're not charging anything, so it's just for the community. And we are asking if you want to get tickets, you can, just for seating. But we're doing okay on that right now. While we have over 300 supposedly coming. We've given out over 300 tickets so far. So we're doing really well on that. You can get tickets at the door. And but we just want to invite everybody. Even if you don't really believe in that, it's a lot of fun. He did express an interest if he found something at this place, maybe because he has an online show, and I may be overstepping here, but he has an online show that he does on the web since his show got canceled, Strange Curiosities or whatever. And if he goes to this place and finds enough, that he might want to come down here and film it and put it on the web. So that's something we can cross that bridge later, but that's something that might be of interest. So y'all are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments? None, we'll move on to departmental reports.
Be as submitted this evening, Mayor, because we have another special recognition, but Mr. Weezer will give the Public Works Director's report, followed by the manager's message.
Good evening, Council Mayor. I'd like to report all the water wells are at 100%. And then our utility department completed the 8-inch water main extension downtown. They are also finished installing two other valves and 3 fire hydrants on Main Street, for a total of 7 fire hydrants and 6 valves. They were also busy repairing 3 main breaks during the holiday. Landmark, the water tower contractor, moved on site last week. They began the excavation and poured mud cap foundations and are presently forming the lanes and laying steel in preparation for the tower foundation. On the water main projects, John Medding continues to work on the TxDOT permits for the sections of Highway 476, 281 South, and Highway 97. He is also waiting on the TxDOT, on the Union Pacific Railroad permits for the water line crossing under the railroad at McGuffin Road and to First Street in Uvalde. He's in the process of acquiring the easements for sections of property along Haverla Road, and we are still working on completing the project material list. We plan to complete this list and submit for bids by the first week in February. For the Parks Department, they continue on the ground maintenance to all ball fields. They finished the interior painting to restroom number 1 at the River Park, and they also pressure washed and cleaned up the new Casa office building. They will be replacing the outfield netting to the River Park soccer field. This week they've installed 3 new benches along the basketball court area. And then our next project is to install 3 new concrete slabs with picnic tables and barbecue pits in the River Park. Street Department cleaned and graded the drainage easements between Market and Crockett on 3rd Street. This was done to improve the drainage right there on that section of Market Street. They backfilled and asphalted the street cuts for that 8-inch water main project downtown. The superintendent, JJ, continues working on addressing the airport non-compliance issues. They've replaced both windsocks to the required size, and they've installed the FAA-approved bulbs to the runway and taxiway signs. This week, JJ also met with the FAA inspector, who pointed out other items that will be requiring some immediate attention. As of today, they have replaced 2 backup batteries for the AWAS system and will be addressing the other items ASAP. For the wastewater plant department, they're still working on troubleshooting the UV system control panel. They've been experiencing electronic system overload and outages, which can lead to some wastewater treatment non-compliance. So we're waiting for the manufacturer to get back with us for further recommendations. And they have been working on cleaning and televising a section of sewer main right there on Bryant and Goodwin. We are currently working with TxDOT for a road closure permit, which will allow us to dig and make up the necessary repairs. That completes my report.
I have a question. Yeah, Johnny, how much longer before Casa is going to be able to move into their new office?
So we've got a couple of items still pending on the building side, till John Rainey can release it. But there's a couple of items still pending, I think.
Okay. And also, I was reading in these reports about the fire extinguishers at the airport were empty and all that. Whose responsibility is that to keep those?
Whoever was in charge of the airport of overseeing the maintenance and operation, which was our previous street department superintendent.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's been taken care of?
Yes, it's been taken care of, and a lot of issues are being looked at.
Mayor?
Thank you.
Ms. Israel.
I just wanted to, I've been seeing the markers indicating, I believe, on High Meadow, is that they're marking the easement for future, or was it for the water lines or whatever, for the possible upcoming
Part of the
street?
CIP street, yeah, project, yes. That is the
I
survey
just thought
that's
so,
being done
those
I think those are just benchmarks.
for the,
marks
yeah.
for possible street, yeah,
Street reconstruction,
depending on however the council decides which streets are gonna go. Well, all I can tell you is they look golden flying in the breeze. So, really a nice sight to continue to see that move forward, and wondered where we are as far as Bonita Creek. Just a quick update.
Bonita Creek, they have finished clearing all the brush and tree and are looking at starting in a couple of weeks on dredging the section between Hunt Street and Adams.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you, Ms. Weezer. Item number 11 is the city manager's message.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Wanted to give you an update on information technology. For all intents and purposes, our network is now complete. We have all the buildings visiting with each other, if you will. We've had to install some larger circuit breakers on the antennas that support the towers that support the point-to-point system. The additional server was installed at the wastewater treatment plant. We're up and running. I will tell you that the next step in the process will be, and the equipment has already been ordered. It just doesn't make practical sense for Mr. Gary or Mr. Peterson to sit down with a prospective tenant to rent the Civic Center and they write out checks totaling, $1,000, $1,500, whatever it is, depending on the provisions they want, and we have to have them follow us across the street to get a receipt. So they'll be processing those payments and processing their own deposits, further expanding our existing human resources and taking the pressure off the ladies here at City Hall. If that's successful, we'll move to another department. I have tentatively visited with the judge. We do have a person over there is well-versed in accounts receivable and doing batch deposits, and once Mr. Peterson and Mr. Gary are in place, then we'll move from that to the municipal court, where the municipal court can process their own deposits, further extending our existing human resources. We are in our PC replacement program for the year. We have about 3, if not 4 PCs we visited with our consultant about last week about replacement, so they're programming the computers that are in inventory to come and place those. I might mention where ordinances are concerned, we have been dealing with an inordinate amount of ordinances. We continue to work on them. The direction by council, sometimes it takes us a month or 2, sometimes 3, but understand hopefully that these things are in process. There's a lot of research that has to be done. There's a legal review that takes place, and we have to see if we're in conflict with any other ordinances and how we need to either amend or completely repeal. The Employee Personnel Policy Manual is finished its 3rd edit. It's in the hands of the committee. We kind of sanctioned up the manual several chapters at a time based on the committee members' expertise. Mr. Maldonado is in possession of that manual as we speak. We hope to have the review of the chapters assigned to each committee member finished in the next week or so. We'll await Mr. Maldonado. For all intents and purposes, Mr. Maldonado have discussed tentatively, and I've discussed it with the mayor, that we would hope to have that manual in the council's hands for about 2 weeks before we ask the mayor to call a work session to explain to you the things that will stay as is and the things that we'd like to see changed and the things that we've needed to update. For instance, the old manual has nothing in it about information technology. It only has a smoking provision in it. It doesn't have use of tobacco products or some of these other things. And there's some things that we looked at that would be of advantage for the employees. There were 4 other employee personnel policy manuals reviewed in cities somewhat our size, cities somewhat smaller, and cities somewhat larger. This has been an all-encompassing effort. Normally, most cities hire a consultant to do this. Our consultant was best served by the staff doing it, and I can't congratulate and recognize Mr. Gary enough for doing the initial research and getting the first draft ready for us. Andres, I salute you. I may segue for just a moment away. Mr. Gary is an example of many of the hardworking employees we have in this city who are represented here tonight of their fellow employees who are either at home babysitting or maybe performing other duties. Maybe out. Well, I think they're all here. We hadn't had a call for service, including fire, utilities, public works, and those things that they do while a lot of folks sleep. The best thing said is if you don't see city employees, things are good. Thank you all for being here. My hats are off to you. Financial reporting. We're going to begin doing a financial report at the end of each quarter for the council. We'll put that in your package. Mrs. Martinez will do a brief overview of revenues, expenses, anomalies, and I think she'll probably say at the end of it, we probably have no money. So we think we're in that next step. I know it may be kind of all-encompassing, but we'll start with the broad brush overviews. Obviously, the utility system, the general fund, and a couple of others will be paramount to review because that's the two generators that we do most of our maintenance and operations out of. Mayor, I'll stand for any questions or comments. That's your manager's report.
Questions for Mr. Pearson? Thank you, Mr. Pearson.
Thank you.
Item number 12 is city manager's special recognition. Council, we're going to join Mr. Pearson down there and stand in the order that we're sitting up here. There's a reason for it.
It's this page right here. I don't know what he did with that. Yeah, because it's supposed to go with it, and I gave it back to him thinking it belonged to him, and I can't. You have the color? Huh?
Do you have an extra letter that?
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as I finish, I'll hand it to him. Okay. I dare us short you. Mayor, council, and citizens and employees. This was the second year of our Blue Santa program, instigated, envisioned, and generated by the police department and the employees of this city. The Blue Santa program was very successful. As many of you know, the Blue Santa program provides a little bit of cheer for children and families who may not necessarily be able to experience it or envision it during the holiday season. I often have told people over the Christmas season that although I received many gifts as a child growing up, and my family did not want, the most special gift I received was probably from a grandmother and a family member who could afford it the least, and each one of the grandchildren received a silver dollar. That's the thing I remember most. With that being said, I'd like to read a letter to the employee volunteers who volunteered their time to make this a successful holiday season for many in our community. I'm going to turn to the employees, Mayor, for a minute. To all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you who gave your tireless efforts in order to ensure that our Blue Santa program was a tremendous success this past holiday season. Your dedication to our city and to those children and their families who enjoyed a beautiful holiday does not go unforgotten or go forgotten. The greatest reward one can receive is in helping our fellow man. This is truly what public service is defined by and always will be. In fact, to reach beyond your normal responsibilities speaks to your giving heart. Your efforts are truly remarkable. The community at large often never experiences or sees the fruits of your efforts, but rest assured they do not go without notice to those that count in this time of need. Our city is much better for the wear because of each and every one of you. Once again, our hats are off to you. Each one can be individually recognized. When your name is called, if you will come up here to the left side of the podium, and each council member will have a certificate and a copy of a letter that I read for you all, and the certificate is signed by the mayor and myself, and once again, thank you all. Mr. Daniel Zertucci. I was told to be heavy on this. Sergeant Rupel.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Amy Oswald. Thank you, Amy. I've been practicing in front of the mirror for a week. Mari Carmen Magana Mendez. Amika Chopper. Jordan Harris. We have one out working as we speak, but we will recognize investigator, and I'm told the judge's favorite nephew, Ernest Guerra. Victor Rivera, working. Sergeant David Jimenez.
He's with Ernest.
Another one working with Ernest. We need to check the village in, Chief.
They're on a case right now.
Anastasio Perez. Dan Beeman. Jesse Chia. Joe Zaleka. They say the first time's luck, the second time's skill. Maria Magana Mendez. Captain Johnny Gonzalez. the person we all affectionately know from within the organization that really runs public works, Sharon Bindle. Samantha Sam Garcia. I'm not going to chance it the third time. Chia. The one who is responsible for the airport now, Mr. John Roberts. And last, certainly but not least, Sergeant Smitty Gonzalez. Thank you, Council. I would just like to say, we would just like to say, for those of you who do have the phone number, please let Santa know we would like for him to come back next year. Thank you.
This is the fun part. But on the part of this young kid,
Item number 13 is mayor's message and announcements. The only one I have is we've been in the San Antonio Business Journal several times over the last few weeks. I think the 26th, the 31st of last month. But tomorrow they're doing a feature on Pleasanton. One of the reporters came through here on his trip back from the valley and couldn't believe the growth in our town. So he sat down with me and Mr. Pearson last week, and then again with me and Mr. Pearson and Mr. Sines this week for a video, and they took a bunch of pictures, and they were really impressed with the growth of Pleasanton. So if you look on the San Antonio Business Journal, there should be a pretty big spread about us tomorrow. Item number 14 is discussion action to accept the entrance signs renderings from Pleasant Independent School District for possible construction and placement on U.S. Highway 281 North and First Street, PISD and city staff.
I know y'all are going to be disappointed. I'm going to be such a letdown after all that. And I didn't even bring the students tonight. So they are very busy kiddos. Jace is playing basketball and lots of other stuff going on. But I will bring them next time if needed. So we just wanted to review what the students have put together that they feel competent about building. And what we have here is some renderings that they helped put together. The first one is an example of a finished wall, the one on the top left. But the letters and the words in the seal would all be out of metal, and I've brought an example of the metal that they have been using, and this, we would not put this on there. This is just, I want to bring an example of the detail work that the machines that they use can do, and they have the ability to scan any image and then detail cut that out. So that's what their intent is to do. So right now they're working on scanning the image into the right programming. So they like to use this type of metal, and y'all can look at this if anyone wants to, or I can.
We'll pass it.
It's
real rusty.
But they would like to cut that out, and then this is how they plan to build the wall. They would pour a foundation, They're going to build the wall out of concrete bricks, and then they would face it with a stone veneer. And that's the example you see down in the bottom left-hand corner. And that's the basic products that they'll be using. So they'll do that, and then to do the sign, they'll of course have cut the letters and the seal out of the metal. We anticipate that the seal itself, the city of Pleasanton would be a negative space, so you would see the rock behind the letters CITY and so forth. And then to apply these letters and the seal to the wall, they have there's an example down on the bottom right-hand corner of a sign that's done in the way we'd like to do ours, where they will drill holes into the wall with masonry bits, and a welded pole on the back of each letter or at certain key points will be, and then it'll be inserted into the wall and secured that way. So that's their plan. They're excited about it. The teacher's using it as a little bit of a competition to make sure who gets to come work on the side of the highway. They have to kind of earn that right. So we're not going to just load up a whole class worth of kids and bring them down to work on the side of the highway. So they're working to get that opportunity, and I think that's a fantastic thing for them to get to do in their classroom. So at this time, if there's any kind of questions or thoughts or input, since the kids were here last time, we've had a lot of input from a lot of people with a lot of neat ideas, but ultimately we want to for sure go with the new seal and the new stamp, the way our city lettering and things look like right now. So.
Mayor?
I just want to make a comment real quick before we get started. I appreciate this. This is something that several of us have kicked around, and we've never done anything about it. So we appreciate the kids picking up the torch for us.
No, thanks.
Ms. Israel.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
To accept the entrance sign rendering from Pleasanton Independent School District for possible construction and placement on US Highway 281 North and First Street.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the entrance sign renderings from Pleasanton Independent School District for possible construction and placement on US Highway 281 North and First Street. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a quick
Mr. Gagos.
question. I know I've taken a picture of the one that they have in Somerset, and the word "Welcome to Somerset" is on theirs.
Yes.
So how would that change this, or could that be considered or not?
That absolutely could be considered. We estimated that the size of the seal with a 7 foot tall and 10 foot long wall, these letters will already be approximate. The P and the N are of course larger than the rest of the letters. So to scale those, the P is going to be about 1.5 feet tall, and then the seal itself will be about 2.5 feet tall. So it does become an issue with a little taller, a little wider. Right. That can be done. It's going to cost a little bit more in product. But of course, those letters are just as easy to cut out as any. We need to talk about the font and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's excellent. I mean, it's beautiful, but I mean,
it says Pleasanton.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It looks
yeah, I was in Wallace, Idaho, and everywhere you went around, there's a 227 population or 277. Everything always said, "Welcome to Wallace. Welcome, welcome, welcome." Every store. Everything. So I thought that was pretty neat.
We can incorporate that if y'all would like to do that. The students will be working with some other professionals. I meant to mention Roger Wells has offered to help to do whatever he can that would be of assistance. And Gerald Rackley, with a senior engineer and the transportation designer with Atkins Global, will be working with the students on their drawings and the actual getting it down to the nuts and bolts of exactly what they're going to need and how to build it. So
they did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other discussion?
Mayor?
Mr. Garza.
Is that the actual color that the letters are gonna be?
The metal that you have is going to be the actual color, and the stone will be lighter.
It'll be that color?
Yes, sir.
That's not gonna stand out like that.
Well, the stone is real light, and it'll stand out more than the Woodbridge Hill sign would.
Could it be done in color?
I would have to look into that. That's not a process that we've used before with the students. It could be something that we look into, though.
That would be a good question.
Okay. Well,
Any other questions?
Mayor?
Ms. Israel.
I don't know, but instead of welcome, maybe we could say howdy.
just let us know. Just let us know.
Any other discussion?
We'll have to vote on that.
Just saying.
If there's no more
I
discussion.
said lots of input.
No further discussion. We'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 15 is discussion action to award the bid for street and utility construction materials, Public Works Director and City Engineer.
That's heavy.
The City of Pleasanton advertised and received one seal bid for the referenced 2014-2015 street and utility construction project at the bid opening on January 8th, 2015 at 10 a.m. The prices bids are tabulated and attached for references, with the Atascosa Materials being the apparent and only low bidder on all items requested for the amount of $742,700. The options are the City of Pleasanton select the Atascosa Materials for the bid amount of $742,700 for the 2014-2015 street and utility construction project, or the City of Pleasanton does not select the Atascosa Materials for the bid amount of $742,700 for the 2014-2015 street and utility construction project. Our recommendation is that the City of Pleasanton select the Atascosa Materials for the bid amount of $742,700 for the 2014-2015 street utility construction project.
Mayor,
Mr. Gagos.
I move to approve Atascosa Material, their bid for $742,000 for the 2014-2015 street and utility construction project. I'm sorry, 742,000?
700, I'm sorry. That's a typo on the recommendation.
Okay, now.
742,700.
Okay, $742,700 for the 2014-2015 street and utility construction project.
Or do you maintain your second?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve Atascosa Materials for the bid of $742,700 for the 2014-2015 street and utility construction project. Any discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir, Ms. Sines.
Is that the only bid that we got in?
That was the only bid, Mr. Sines. Yes, sir. And we've advertised it for 2 weeks.
So actually it'll be awarded to the
Yes, sir.
one bid that
The one
came
bid.
in enough to where nobody bid it other than this
Yes, sir.
company. Okay.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Best.
obviously, though, you feel that's a competitive price, or you wouldn't recommend it, correct?
Right.
Other discussion? Being none, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 16 is discussion action to accept the recommendation to purchase 2015 crew cab service truck budgeted for the utility construction crew, utility works director, or public works director. I don't know where I got utility works director from, but it's your new title.
David Smith will be in hand with the research on this item. The City of Pleasanton advertised and received one sealed bid for the reference 2014-2015 street and utility. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong sheet. We are requesting the direction from the City Council to purchase the 2015 service crew truck. This crew truck is a budgeted item for the fiscal year of 2014-2015. It would be assigned to our utility construction crew and will be needed for our upcoming water main project. David Smith has called and received quotes from 3 authorized buy board dealers. The best price was received from the Caldwell Country Ford Chevrolet dealer. The best bid received was for a 2015 Chevrolet 3500 crew cab, which includes service body and head racks for $34,207.53. This purchase will be coded to the utility fund line item 21424503. Options is for the city, direct the city staff to purchase the 2015 Chevrolet 3500 crew cab for $34,207, or direct city staff not to purchase the 2015 Chevrolet 3500 crew cab for $34,207. Our recommendation is for the city staff to purchase the 2015 Chevrolet 3500 crew cab for $34,207.
Mayor,
Before we go on, I have a question for Mr. Maldonado. I have a question for you. You're here. I'm going to use you. If we have something that's already in the budget, just for future reference, if we have something that's already been budgeted and it's in the budget, do we need to go through this process? Do we need to have it as an agenda item? And I'm asking because the charter expresses that over, $25,000? So even if we've approved it in the budget, we still have to do that?
Mr. Pearson did mention the charter requirement, and what I was going to mention is that if you do have the bid requirement, you may as well approve the bid in an open meeting.
Okay. All right.
Mayor?
Ms. Israel?
Yes, I would like to go ahead and direct, you made me lose my place there. Never mind. Direct the city staff to purchase the 2015 Chevrolet 3500 Crew Cab for $34,207.
And 53 cents. That was another typo.
And 53 cents.
That's the second. A third strike is not good.
Second.
It's my first time.
It's been moved and second to direct the city staff to purchase a 2015 Chevrolet 3500 Crew Cab for $34,207.53. Any discussion? And I just want to say we could have got it for 53 cents cheaper, but
Well, we could have gotten $700 cheaper.
I'm just saying, let things like that slip. Any other discussion? None will proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 17 is discussion action, direct city staff to bring utility service agreement for the cost reimbursement agreement for RCGF Properties LTD for consideration by the city council. City staff.
Mayor, I'll be as as much of an overview as I can. RCGF Properties is affectionately known as the Taco Bell. Mr. Maldonado and I have been in discussions with the Taco Bell owners, the owners of RCGF Properties, as well as their legal representation for the possible negotiation of first a utility service agreement. Just a brief review back to the corner store brands agreement. A utility service agreement just prescribes that the developer will put the utilities in and will provide the service. Secondly, we have been discussing the cost reimbursement agreement. These are normally done when developers put in an inordinate amount of infrastructure beyond what it takes to support their development. The incentives for the city are increased service capability for the future economic growth, increased utility income, increased ad valorem tax income, increased value of the utility system, and so on. The Taco Bell put in some 660 linear feet of 8-inch water main, which did not exist on the south side of the road, and some 300 feet of 12-inch water main to connect an existing 8-inch to the 12-inch that the city ran for Walgreens several years back, I believe, that's capped off in front of the Walgreens. This was another one of those steps in increasing fire flows in the 97 corridor, which we have struggled with and had challenges with for years. Their cost for construction was $119,000. We're kind of at a break point here in the negotiations. We just need direction from council tonight to continue forward and possibly bring a utility services agreement that's acceptable to Mr. Maldonado and the staff and I, and a cost reimbursement agreement that's acceptable to Mr. Maldonado and the staff and I, to the council for consideration. Once again, the cost reimbursement agreement is a mechanical, a tool in the toolbox for municipalities and other governmental entities where the developer puts the infrastructure in and we have the promotion of future economic development because the infrastructure wasn't there. No cost to the citizens, no cost to the existing ratepayers. The city will administer the program because we will be the ones that know who wants to tap onto those facilities. There will be an administration charge to anybody that taps on for the city to process administering the program and processing the check to send back to RCGF Properties. RCGF Properties. Your options are in front of you. The staff recommendation this evening is direct city staff to present a utility service agreement and a cost reimbursement agreement or development agreement for wastewater and water facility construction with RCGF Properties Limited to the City Council for possible consideration and adoption.
Mayor,
Mr. Gagos.
I move to direct the city staff, city manager, and city attorney to present a utility service agreement and a cost reimbursement development agreement for the wastewater and water facility construction with RCGF Properties Ltd. to the City Council for consideration and adoption.
Moved and seconded to direct the city staff, city manager, and city attorney to present a utility service agreement and a cost reimbursement development agreement for wastewater and water facility construction with RCGF Properties LTD for the city council, to the city council for consideration and adoption. Any discussion? There's none. We'll proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 18 is discussion action to purchase a Cardinal Badge software program for the police department and municipal court system. City staff.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel,
can we go ahead with a motion?
if you would like.
I would like to. Yes, I would like to go ahead and make a motion for the city to purchase the Cardinal Badge software program and to include the following: for 16 patrol vehicles, maintenance costs for years 2 and 3 with the features of mobile site, laptop citation issuance, municipal court management, automatic citation downloads in the municipal court, badge records management system, field reporting and local history searches and sharing, GPS tracking, a more comprehensive knowledge of the patrol unit through parameters set on such things as excessive speeds, prolonged stationary vehicle postures, etc. CAD 911, computer-aided and silent dispatch, and mobile link at a price not to exceed $115,755.60.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to direct the city staff to purchase Cardinal Badge system for 16 patrol vehicles to include maintenance costs for 2 years, 2 and 3, with the features of mobile site, laptop citation issuance, municipal court management, automatic citation download in the municipal court, badge records management system, field reporting and local history, searches and sharing, GPS track, a more comprehensive knowledge of the patrol unit through parameters set such as things as excessive speed, prolonged stationary vehicle postures, etc. CAD 911, computer-aided and silent dispatch, and mobile link at a price not to exceed $115,755.60. Any discussion? Being none, we'll proceed to the vote. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 19 is discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, we appreciate it very much.
Mayor, if I may say so just briefly, we really appreciate this. This has been a long, arduous process. It's gone on over 2 years. We really thank the council, and our officers deserve nothing less. Thanks, guys.
Item number 19 is discussion action to increase bulk water rates. Councilmember Roger Garza.
The reason I have it on the agenda is because I feel like we need to get a better rate on these. And seems like the residents are paying more. But I'd like to make a motion and then we can discuss it and see the pricing. I move that we ask the staff to research what other cities in the area are charging. Let me see. Bring an amendment utility ordinance to reflect a $150 setup fee for the hydrants meters and adjust the rate per 1,000 gallons to $7 for 1,000, while leaving other provisions of the fire hydrant meters rates in place. Now, the $7 are being debatable.
Very debatable.
So I don't know what the rest of the council.
That was in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion dies for lack of a second.
Mayor,
Mr. Gallegos.
can I make a recommendation or a motion? or not?
Let's try a recommendation first.
Okay, I would recommend, because the staff has brought back price rates from Dilley, Pearsall, Jordanton, Corn City, and Pleasanton. And I know this is a big issue. It's been brought up 3 or 4 times, but I mean, we're charging $5 per 1,000 gallons, and $2 increase is a waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. If we're gonna raise it, we need to be more competitive, like Corn City and other towns.
Okay.
I think $2 is just not even worth talking about. I don't have a problem about the deposit of $900, the monthly fee of $40.
Well, before we get too far, since we don't have a motion, maybe we need to revisit this at, if somebody would like to, we could revisit it another time, but since we don't have a motion in front of us, we really can't discuss it. So with that, the regular session of January 15th, 2015 is hereby recessed to hold an executive session pursuant of Chapter 551 of Texas Government Code, Subchapter D, as it pertains to personnel matters 551.074. Executive session matters may be discussed and acted upon if appropriate in open session. The time is 8:16 p.m. Item number 22, the regular session of January 15th, 2015 is hereby reconvened at 9:19, that's 21:19 hours. Item number 23, discussion action concerning city manager's contract.
Mayor,
Ms. Israel.
I'd like to direct the city attorney to follow through as was discussed in executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to direct the city attorney to move forward as discussed in executive session. Any
Thank you,
discussion?
Mayor.
Being none, proceed to the vote.
Mayor, I have,
Mr. Gagos.
would that, do I need to amend it to amend his contract to add
I
the
think
motion?
we're fine with the motion as presented. The motion was presented to move forward as discussed in executive session, so we're good to go.
That's correct.
So,
Other discussion? If not, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 24 is review of the bills. Ms. Israel.
No, sir.
Mr. Steins. Mr. Best.
No, sir.
Mr. Garza.
no, sir.
Mr. Gagos.
No, sir.
Item number 25.
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned at 9:20 p.m. Thank you, council.